Welcome to the 2026 Tour of Oman, the 15th edition of a race that has become many riders' favourite way to start the year.
It should be a stage that suits me. I mean, I'm here for the sprints.
And oh my goodness, Olaf Koy has left everyone in his wake. That was brilliant.
We had to take some responsibility and yeah, I think we did it really good.
Oh, that was a very smooth win for Olaf Koy. He had the power and he used it.
I found my pace as really good domestic, I think, for Remco and the other leaders, and I think this is what I'm doing the best.
That was a piece of class. Genius at work.
Finally, after 10 years.
We got cards to play. Should be a good race.
150 minutes to go. Gotta respond. This is brilliant.
Ça a été une belle bataille avec Adam, il était très fort. Le défi, ça va être Subiette qui va, je pense, tenter le tout pour le tout.
Gunnar is struggling again, I'm afraid. Perry Pancher takes the day, and Yates takes the title.
It's a nice way to start the year. Nice race for a climber with a few uphill finishes. I just start off steady and be able to test myself. So on paper, it's pretty simple, just one climb in the end. So just a matter of if you have the legs or not.
I enter this year with a lot of hope to try and get some more top results and some stages, whether that be in stage races or grand tours. Well, my first time racing in the Pro Peloton was here in the Middle East, so it's got a place in my heart that I love coming back to racing. I really enjoyed it then. I actually got to race with Adam Yates and be his teammate, and was helping him dominate up here, and sort of inspired me to really want to come back to the Middle East and race. And with the tour, I think it'll be straightforward between sprint days and the two climbing GC days. We don't have a sprinter here. Sort of just getting through those days as well as we can, and then looking forward to stage 3 and stage 5 on the climbs.
I was second last year, so this year I will try to win the GC.
Whoa, my life! And that Perry Pancher just rounds him on the outside here. That is a phenomenal drive by him.
I think we will try also for the stage win. Last year we were back won a stage from the Breakaway, so...
He's going to take it, he's going to get this victory. Oh, for biker!
Every day we have something to try to win the stage. For sure there is also some good other riders, but at the end it's the leg who speak for us.
Well, this is what we've got to look forward to over the next 5 days. Stage 1, a fast 171 kilometres with a coastal finish. Then on Sunday, it's Rustak Fort, 191 kilometres with an uphill finish in the Yeti Hills. Then the first big test for the GC contenders, before the sprinters get another go on Tuesday. And we finish on Wednesday with the Green Mountain Showdown, a mountain stage in anyone's book. As Luke Plapp said, 2 mountain days and 3 flat, a stage race full house. And we start with one for the fast men.
I want to try today. It's just flat stage in the. I hope it's arrive in the sprint, and then we try to do the best. In good shape. I'm happy with the stage, with my performance, and then we see what happens.
It's predicted to be a sprint today, so we'll do our best to get the win. We know there's some wind at the finish. It's exposed to the wind, so we mustn't get tricked into thinking about a sprint finish. We need to do the most we can to be well placed in the last 50k. After that, we'll manage how we treat the end.
It's the first really big sprint opportunity for me, and also in a new team of Alpecin Premier Tech.
Yesterday you had a quiet day.
The guys that are in front, Mauro Schmidt, Adam Yates, they are quite some good climbers. So I mean, it was so hard for me the parkour yesterday. So today suits us and me and the team a lot better. I'm quite confident for today that it will that we have a really good train.
On we go then, with stage 1 of the 15th edition of the Tour of Oman. And we got underway in Muscat at the Ministry of Tourism in Al Kuwair. 10:35 a.m. local time and 123 starters with 171 kilometres to race. Just after the neutral zone, the peloton passed the Said Tamoor bin Faisal Mosque as the first attacks began to fly. It's a breathtaking architectural landmark in Oman and one of the most significant modern mosques in the region. Just 3 kilometres into the stage, the peloton tackled the Jabal Road Busha Al Amarat climb. It's a 3.5 kilometre wall with a 9.2% average gradient. That early ascent served to immediately shed several non-climbers and helped solidify the selection of the day's breakaway. First of all, 2 of the Oman national team powered off the front. They were Mohammed Al-Wahibi and Said Al-Rabi. This is the bottom of the only climb of the day, and that was the moment that the Omani riders chose. Just behind them, Jose Luis Faura of Burgos Burpelet joined them. It wasn't to stay like this for very long though. The pace was extremely high very early on, riders all fighting to join the move before that first major ascent really got underway. A very small gap for the 3, and they were soon 4. Patrick Gashurny of Team Visna Lisa Bike. And he was to prove a pivotal part of this first stage of the Tour of Oman. At the back of the peloton, meanwhile, Mauro Schmidt was really struggling to hold on. Not surprising, given his efforts yesterday. And Alex Diaz made an effort to go alone. Pretty soon, the Omani riders struggled to hold on to the breakaway, in the same way that Schmidt was struggling at the back of the main peloton. Schmidt fairly relaxed after his victory at the Muscat Classic. And it looked like we might have our 3 riders who would be at the front of the race for the rest of the day. Just 1 kilometre from the summit of the Jabal Road climb, and the race was already in pieces. Several smaller groups attempting to bridge the gap, but not succeeding. 35 seconds it was. As they descended from the heights of Bausha, with approximately 162 kilometres to go, the definitive breakaway had finally formed. Gashurny took the points at the top of the climb, and he would go on to take many more points throughout the rest of the day. Those are the only King of the Mountain points on offer on stage 1. Lots more climbing though still to come. Gashurny is a young man with a lot of promise. As that definitive breakaway finally formed, they passed the iconic Mohammed Al Amin Mosque, constructed completely of marble and built between 2008 and 2014. It features inside an 11-metre tall chandelier finished in 24-carat gold plating and Swarovski crystals. Understated? All of this happened, by the way, within the first 10 kilometres. We still had 160 to go, and the race settled into something of a rhythm. The leading trio, after the intermediate sprint had been won by Patrick Gashurny, established a primary advantage over a peloton which at this stage was being led and controlled by United Arab Emirates. A 3-second time bonus for Gashurny. At this point, he was 3rd overall, and he was already the primary animator of the day's breakaway. The race passed the Al Kuwar district, and the peloton maintained a steady rhythm in pursuit of the breakaway. The gap to those 3 leaders remained stable though. Lots of teams involved in controlling the peloton, Alpecin Premier Tech and UAE Team Emirates XRG especially. They began to organise at the front of the bunch. With the breakaway's lead at 4 minutes 12, the 19-year-old Gashurny was showing elite form, having previously dominated the Polish junior circuit. But time for a break for us as we explore more of this wonderful country. We're going to look at Wahiba Sands, a vast 12,500 square kilometre desert region in Oman, renowned for its towering 100-metre-high golden orange sand dunes, where you can enjoy all kinds of activities, as you're about to see.
In Bidiya, the desert offers a distinctive and memorable experience. Begin the journey with a serene sunrise over golden dunes, followed by a breathtaking hot air balloon ride that reveals the vast beauty of the desert from above. As the day progresses, enjoy a range of desert activities, including dune biking, camel rides, and sand surfing, each offering a unique way to explore the landscape. As evening approaches, the desert takes on a new charm. Under a clear, star-filled sky, Bidiya invites visitors to unwind and appreciate the calm and timeless beauty of the desert. Bidiya is where adventure, heritage, and tranquility come together to create an authentic desert experience.
Jalhout, a dramatic mountain pass. And the contrast of the Peloton's bright colours was something of a juxtaposition for the locals. Road 17 is what we're on now, right along the turquoise Gulf of Oman and coastal beauty to the left. Lots of fishermen came to see the race or watch from their dhows. 45 kilometres an hour was the average speed at this point, as Gazurski decided that his day might be up. The gap came down to 3 minutes 10, and there was some wind, as Alpecin Premier Tech, riding for Gerben Thyssen, who came into 2026 targeting a top 5 world sprint ranking, he says, and they started to stretch the pack. This is Wadi Katifa, and the gap by this point was down to 1:55. UAE Team Emirates increased the tempo, with Rui Oliveira driving the peloton. Juan Sebastian Molana was tucked in fifth wheel, protected from the coastal crosswinds that were expected as the race hit that exposed coastal highway. Gradually, the speed was increasing, desperately trying to discourage further attacks and bridges to that breakaway 3. We saw wadis and hidden oases all the way along today's route, and they were the only green for miles. They also provide vital shade for the local Bedouin herds. Yet another wadi here, as the temperature started to rise. 28 degrees it was at the finish, although that would drop as the sun started to set. Wadi after wadi as the gap dropped to 35 seconds, and now with 24k to go, the breakaway was within sight of the peloton. The catch looked imminent, and there was one more intermediate sprint to go as we passed another mosque. With Gashurni at the front of this trio, he was looking forward to getting more bonuses at the only other opportunity of the day, the second intermediate sprint. He'd already swept up the first two at the King of the Mountains point and that first intermediate sprint. They were working together pretty well, these three, but they pretty much knew that their time was numbered. Approaching that second intermediate sprint then, and Gashurni bided his time. In the end, he was just too quick for the other two, the Spaniards holding back and letting the Visma Lisa bike rider take the bonifications. Thumbs up from Gashurni, and he was happy with what he'd done today. By this point, Gashurni, having won that final intermediate sprint, had effectively secured the gold jersey for the most aggressive rider, so he'll be in that tomorrow. The race went across the Wadi Jab Bridge, overlooking the ancient irrigation channels of Falaj that have kept these desert oases alive for centuries. As the peloton approached, the three escapees shook hands. They became absorbed by the UAE-led pack. The average speed of the race at this point was 39.4 kilometers an hour. Not that quick, but it was about to get a lot faster. They carried on, the Spanish duo, but it was just a matter of time. The peloton had them in their sights, and they knew it. And we always like to see a little shake of the hands when the breakaway knows that they're going to be caught. One look around, a quick word to each other, and good job, my friend. So the breakaway was neutralised with just over 20 kilometres to go, and there was a little bit of a detour, not necessarily planned. The speed had really increased by now. The average speed for the last 5k was a blistering 54 kilometres an hour. At this point, Lotto Intermarché moved to the left of the road, riding for 20-year-old Stefan de Soutenier, who was one of the favourites for today. The rising Belgian star won several under-23 classics in 2025. It wasn't just the speed that was increasing either, the tension too. Uno X Mobility moved up to the flank with Lotto, and everyone was fighting to get in the slipstream behind the UAE lead-out train. The sun had started to dip at this point, so that haze you get off the tarmac had stopped, and that improved the visibility for the riders, which was essential as they were fighting for wheel space. Lots of Omani flags on the side of the road, just as we saw at the Muscat Classic. As the road turned, so did the direction of the wind. We now had a tailwind, and that spiked the speed up to 59 kilometers an hour. Uno X Mobility created that secondary line on the right-hand side for their sprinter Erlend Blikra. Now the road was turning inland, and the wind again changed to a cross tailwind. However, with the finish approaching, the speed got more and more intense, 56 kilometers an hour, and no splits reported, but for sure, at the back of the peloton, they were feeling the pressure. Not huge numbers of fans on the sides of the road in these difficult-to-reach places, but as we got towards our finish line, there certainly did. Luke Plapp had a problem. The team car was there in an instant, and he was back in the peloton in no time at all. Plapp was crucial in helping Mauro Schmidt to win the Muscat Classic on Friday. A new bike for him, and he may well be looking towards tomorrow's stage as a chance for him to get another victory on his palmares. Beautiful scenes with the sea and the desert next to each other. A big group, almost all of the peloton there, and everyone trying to gather their sprint trains together with 15 kilometers to go. No crashes yet, but the peloton stretched to breaking point. Ivan Garcia Cortina from Movistar was up into the top 10 positions as they had time to stop and watch a horse race. Every inch of the road was being used, and the smooth, sun-baked road was really good for us to expect exactly what we were expecting, and that fast run into the line. More and more, the pack went into single file. Historically, being in the top 20 here is essential. No one further back than that has ever won at Bima. With 10k to go, UAE Team Emirates slotted in behind Alpecin, with Adam Yates, their GC leader, even drafted in to help position Milano before he dropped back. Then the crosswind started. We knew they might be coming, and sure enough they did. 8 kilometers to go, and Tudor Pro Cycling moved up. When you have a look at the analysis from the power meters, it showed that they were putting 450 watts and more just to stay in the draft of the lead-out trains. Another exposed section and crosswinds from the left. Tudor Pro Cycling moving Rick Plumier up the field, last year's winner of the Muscat Classic. The kilometers started to come down quickly now, and when they passed the 5k banner, no one was attacking, but it was a pure power battle between the lead-out trains of Alpecin, UAE and Uno X. Uno-X on the left-hand side, Lotto Intermarché keeping de Choutenay safe on the right. Now you can't hear it here, but those desert plains are so flat, the riders could even hear the noise of the fans at the finish line. And the run into the Bimmer sinkhole defined by a tactical battle between 3 lead-out trains at this point: Alpecin Premier Tech, UAE Team Emirates and Caja Rural Seguros RGA. 3 French teams came to the front as well: Cofidis for Brian Cocard, FDJ and Total Energies. But UAE still looked very comfortable on the right-hand side of your screen. Due to Pro Cycling were in there as well. Education First struggling and being squeezed off the road. Alpecin started to establish a train that looked dominant for Gerben-Thyssen. They utilised that strong tailwind now to maintain a speed at this point of 62 kilometres an hour. But UAE remained patient, sitting 3 wheels back. Fernando Gaviria from Caja Rural was shadowing Milano's wheel. Lots of tension in the group and lots of anticipation amongst the viewers on television and at the roadside. Bimmer sinkhole was approaching and the finish line we would have very soon indeed. Everybody together, all the teams establishing their trains, and it looked like we were going to have exactly what we'd hoped for. Lotto Intermarché was still up there, still controlling. Alpecin Premier Tech and FDJ also in the mix. Cofidis and Brian Cocard. The French teams really showing themselves on television today. And Caja Rural for Fernando Gaviria. With the Flamme Rouge in sight, pretty much. It was a question of who was going to take a gamble. Caja Rural thought about it. Education First had moved up to the front on the left, but UAE was still there, looking calm, looking collected, and waiting for their moment. This was when the lead-out trains started to drop out. One by one, the peloton got smaller, and the winning bunch with 1,500 metres to go was getting decimated as the speed merchants moved to the front. Not long to go now. I can see the Flamme Rouge approaching, and so too can every single one of those riders on their bikes, on the road, having cycled 170 kilometres today. The elbows are flying. Under we go. Alpecin Premier Tech hold the advantage. Jensen Plowright's out there in front. He's delivering a massive turn of speed. That's a huge pull from Plowright, and Thyssen is in prime central position. 500 metres just over, still to come. Plowright still at the front, and he can't shake off the other competitors, the other contestants, the rivals at this stage of the race. It's been a hot day, a dusty day, a dry day. They're going to need all kinds of massages and rehydration treatments this evening. 500 metres left of this first stage of the Tour of Oman. And still Plowright is out front. But now, who's that? That's Fernando Gaviria, I think, is coming down the left-hand side. Gaviria making a really, really early chance here. 300 to go. And Caja Rural looking for a surprise early sprint victory on the far left. He's going to stop being boxed in, but Milano reacted straight away. He's latched onto Gaviria's wheel, and Milano takes it, timing his effort absolutely perfectly, using the slipstream of Thyssen before swinging out to the right and taking the victory. In a display of pure explosive power, Milano surging past his countrymen in the final 50 metres and winning by half a bike length. Gerben-Thyssen rounded out the podium.
For me, it's really, really important because the last year we need stopping for my knee, one problem in my knee. So 5 months, no races, and 2 months with no bike. Win now, I'm very happy.
Milano's peak speed was recorded at 68.4 kilometres an hour in the final 100 metres, and that explosive kick allowed him to overtake Gaviria by half a bike length at the line. The 31-year-old is out of contract next year. Gaviria and Thyssen in a thunderous sprint finish. Erlen Blikra and Amaury Capiot round out the top 5. Red jersey for Milano. He leads Gaviria by 4 seconds, with breakaway hero Patrick Gosciorni sitting third at 6 seconds, having swept up all the intermediate bonuses today. Points jersey, of course, as well for Milano, as UAE continue to show tactical superiority and perfect execution. 7 victories for them, exactly the same as Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe so far this season. White jersey for our hero of the day, Patrick Goscione. 19 years old, and what a future he has. He's also in the King of the Mountains jersey, as a result of going over the only climb of the race so far. Stage 1 may have been a masterclass in lead-out tactics, but the sprinter's reign is going to be short-lived. Tomorrow we've got 191 kilometres, including the steep Al Hamriya ascent in the final 15k.